What up, party people? It's me again, Wall Street, ready to talk some hoops. And today I want to talk about Monty Williams. I've kind of touched on this subject before when I made my video about the NBA having a coaching problem. And to catch everyone up, Monty Williams was fired as coach of the Detroit Pistons recently. I think it was at the beginning of the summer, maybe in like June or July. And before that, he was a very successful head coach in Phoenix. He also had some, stretches of being a head coach in New Orleans, both for when they were the Hornets and then the Pelicans. And, he progressively got better over time. I mean, 2010 to 11, he had his best year in New Orleans, going 46 and 36. And then they kind of went into a little bit of a rebuild. They lost Chris Paul, or they didn't lose him. They traded Chris Paul. And then they got back up to 45 and 37 in 2014, 2015, in which they made the playoffs but got swept in the first round. If I remember correctly, that was a series where Anthony Davis really carried the team, but it wasn't enough. And then his next head coaching opportunity came in Phoenix, starting with the 2019-2020 season, where, if you guys remember and you paid attention to the NBA bubble, the Phoenix Suns did great in the NBA bubble, but they did not wind up making the playoffs. But I'm pretty sure they won every single game that they played in exhibition in the bubble, which is really when we were like, okay, like the Suns are good. Like the Suns have potential to be a lot better. They wind up finishing the season 34 and 39. And then the following year, they went to the NBA Finals after going 51 and 21 in the regular season. And that was when they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA Finals. And then the following year, they lost in the conference semis. I think that was when they had that devastating series against the Mavericks, where all of the memes about Luka Doncic and Devin Booker spawned. But in that year, they went 64 and 18 and had a 78% win percentage. So Monty Williams is a good coach. I don't know if I could say he's a great coach because he hasn't won a championship, but he is a very good coach. So the fact that he got fired after signing a massive deal to be the coach of the Detroit Pistons. I'm pretty sure it was a record-breaking deal at the time. I'm pretty sure it was a 5-year deal. And he only served as head coach for 1 year on that deal. So, first of all, it's a huge waste of money on Detroit's part. So that's a problem. But my question is he going to ever have an NBA head coaching job again? And the answer, I would say, is he should. But I don't know if he will, because I think it seems like people just blame him, and I don't really get it. Like, I thought the Pistons were going to be a lot better than they were, but I didn't think they were going to be a playoff team. I thought at the absolute peak, they would be the 10 seed, and they would not win their play-in game or games, because you have to win 2 as the 10 seed to actually make the playoffs. I thought that they would just make progress in winning, and they would have that tough experience of losing in the play-in, kind of tasting the playoffs, but not really getting there, which I think would be great for Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey and the rest of the young guys that they have on their team, Asar Thompson, Isaiah Stewart. They have a lot of really good young players that would have benefited from something like that. But they came in much lower than that, and they finished with the worst record in the league, which I always say it's better to be terrible in the NBA than being mediocre. You want to be on the far ends of the spectrum. You don't want to be in the middle, because that's when you really get into like NBA purgatory, as I like to call it, where you get middle of the line draft picks. It's kind of hit or miss if they pan out. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss if they pan out, even if you pick top 5, but to pick, 13th or 14th every year is not a good position to be in, because you're not really, it's a little bit less likely that you're going to wind up with an all-star in the draft, picking at, the end of the lottery as opposed to the beginning. So, but I just think it would be a shame if we don't see Monty Williams coaching in the league again. I think it's highly likely that he turns out to be an assistant coach, but I really don't know. I really don't know if he's going to be able to garner another head coaching position, at least in the near future. And I don't think that that's fair. I think, obviously it's up to the teams if they want to hire him, but I don't think this should be a blip that is so large on his resume that you're like, okay, just throw it away. Like, they really did. I don't know why people text me right now. They see me recorded and they just continue to text me. I don't know if you guys can hear that noise. But back to regular scheduled programming. Monty Williams deserves a job because I do think he can help. But it seems like this is just going to be something that gets carried with him, when it really should also be something that gets carried to the players, because I think you need to hold the players accountable. Cade Cunningham's been in the league now. This was his 3rd season, right? He just signed a big extension, and they're the ones on the court. So, I think the NBA is a lot more of a players' league than a coaches' league. So the players are the ones that got to make it happen, right? And I understand it's year, I don't even know what year of their rebuild it is now, but they've been rebuilding for a very long time, it feels like. And I just feel like this needs to be something that gets, put on the players a little bit more. And maybe it is, and I just, I'm not in their locker room. I'm not in that front office, so I don't know. But to blame Monty Williams after he took a Phoenix Suns team, which also looked pretty bad when he took over, and taking them to the finals, I think if Monty Williams actually had the opportunity to stay in Detroit for the length of his contract, they would have made a decent run in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying that would have been, a championship, but I think they would have certainly had the capability to make it to, deep into the second round, where they're battling to possibly make it to the conference finals. I think that highly of Cade Cunningham, and I think that highly of Asar Thompson and what he can potentially develop into in the next few years, right? I think he's going to have a very sharp curve in terms of his trajectory and where he goes, from here in terms of production and his career. He's just got that raw athleticism. He plays super hard, and he does the things that other people don't really want to do. I mean, for a certain point, I think he was averaging like double-digit rebounds for like a rookie. That's pretty impressive in my opinion, especially because he's not playing the 4 or the 5. He's playing the 3 mainly, and they can also slot him in at the 2, and he's getting 10 boards a game. Like, that's very impressive for a 19-year-old rookie. So I just think there's too much blame that got put on Monty Williams. I really do hope that he gets another job in the league, but, we'll see what happens. I think this blemish is going to really hurt his chances of getting another head coaching job. Do I think he could be another assistant coach, in the next, couple of years? Yes. But I don't know if we're definitely, not going to see him as a head coach this upcoming season. And, it's probably unlikely that we see him as a head coach going into the season after this as well. So, Monty, I'm repping for you. I hope you get another job because you're a good coach, former player, knows what he's talking about, knows how to inspire people. I think the players in Detroit just weren't really feeling what he was saying, but that doesn't mean he's a bad fit for everybody. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Monty Williams got too much of the blame? Do you think he deserves a new role as a head coach somewhere else in the league? Or do you think this was the last time we'll see him as a head coach? Let me know your thoughts. Peace.